The ultimate question is what is happening with the buildup?
Yeah.
The short and simple answer is that DoD is reevaluating its alternatives.
During today's military buildup roundtable hearing, Judge John Pinko, director of the Guam Buildup Office, told lawmakers that the fate of the Guam military buildup was in a very precarious position.
Now more than ever, we must be unified. We must come up with a stance that says the buildup is good for Guam and we want it, okay? This is the message we have to give to Washington. We have been giving mixed signals to Washington.
Pinko says that if we don't have a unified voice, the U.S. will look elsewhere for the buildup.
The time is now to give a unified message to Congress. If we fail to that, if we do not rise to the occasion to that, then I'm afraid the military buildup is going to go elsewhere.
But Senator Frank Blas Jr. doesn't believe that Guam is to blame for the fate of the buildup.
I don't believe, and nor will anybody ever convince me that, and if we do, we've got more power than most people would expect, 175,000 people to be able to change the national policy. That's amazing.
Senator Blas says that senators in the U.S. mainland are simply looking at cutting buildup funding in order to save funding for their own jurisdictions, especially while in the midst of this U.S. budget crunch. Senator Judy Guthertz also pointed out that the buildup concerns that the community of Guam have voiced stem from being left out of the planning process. She points out that DoD made certain promises in public, for example, the promise to keep the buildup within the current land that they occupy, and then made different plans that the public is not privy to seeing. Dr. Richard Wittenbach Santos, who works for Senator Guthertz, says they were only able to obtain copies of the buildup master plan, quote, under the table. And when they did obtain copies, they found that DoD was still not planning on putting any Marines on the excess property at Andersen Air Force Base.
The Marines tell us that Andersen is still not going along with jointness. Andersen does not want any Marines on their base. They want the Marines to have their own commissary, their own exchange, their own housing, their own firing range. They don't want to see a Marine Corps uniform on Andersen.